Hi folks, welcome back to another battle report. This will be game 3 of our Grudge Match games, so it'll be up against Chaos again. It's a 2,000 point battle. We basically play this one out as a standard game, and then we get to swap. I play with his army, he plays with mine. Still the same board and that with the setup. At the moment, one thing I did forget in the last games is to keep a victory point score, because the idea of the Grudge Match is you take all your victory points from each of your games, and that'll give you a total at the end and a comparison to how well you did and how well your opponent did. So fingers crossed, it's going well so far. I'm on 1975 and my opponent is on 1306 as we go into our first 2,000 point pitch battle. So looking at my opponent's left flank at the moment, on the hill there he has a unit of marauders in which is a sorcerer which has death magic. Then in between that is a Shaggoth. Now I've never played a Shaggoth before. This guy is an absolute beast. Toughness 5, strength 5, 5 wounds I believe, and of course he's got a grow weapon, so he's strength 7, and he has 3 up save, so pretty tough. Yeah, if he gets into any of my characters, he'll probably munch them. So what I'm going to try and do is put some skinks on them, try and get a couple of poison shots through, because the 3 up arm save's okay, but yeah, skinks can be really annoying to something like that. And then of course he's got a big block of horrors, which basically acts like another wizard and has access to 3 spells, and they come up bound level 10. So again, they've got some good missile spells, again good at getting rid of my skinks and that, and quite hard to stop, because at bound level 10 you need to chuck at least 3 dice at it to try and stop it, or to spell scroll. So normally I'll have to let it go through and just accept some skinks are going to die. And then we have a unit of Chaos Warriors, and I don't think they were chosen on this one. So look from the centre to the right flank, he then has another unit of Marauders, in which case that has his Lord in it, who is a exalted champion, I think what it is, big tough guy, who's also been upgraded to Tzeentch. Again, I think the Knights also mark Tzeentch as well. So there's going to be a lot of power dice in this army, and he has obviously the Tzeentch magic, and then we have the 3 Minotaurs with great weapons, and I don't think a full command, I think it is a musician and standard, and then he's got little beast herd with a brave shaman, again using law of death. So on my right flank I have a unit of 12 skinks. Again, they've got blowpipes. In behind that building I believe I have my little shaman who's acting as a scroll caddy. Then I have 15 skinks with javelins, and then my centre I've got my 4 croxicors. I then have a large unit, I think it's a 24 unit of Saurus warriors with my Slam Mage priest in it. You know, I've never had a chance to use them before, and playing that big game I got a chance to use it, so I'm going to try and squeeze one in at 2,000 points. Problem is, if I ever lose that unit, I definitely lost the game, because he is a 2nd gen, I believe. So yeah, a load of points put into him. I've got 2 little swarms there, as you see, and my Stegodon. Then finally on the left hand side I have another unit of 12 skinks with blowpipes. They're just there to harass and probably run like hell away from the skirmishing beastmen, because they don't really stand a chance against them. So on to turn 1, and the Chaos get the advantage and move up, as you can see. I think I'm out of range of the worst of the magic. A few things got off, and I also had some dispel scrolls just to try and stop it. My main idea is to stop the first 2 turns worth of magic. If I can do that, hopefully I can mop everything else up in combat, or even blast it with my good old Slan, mainly because it's being 2nd generation, he generates a free power dice every time he casts a spell, and I went with him with Law of Fire and Law of Death, and I think I managed to get the good combo on this game, where I had Fireball, Creeping Hands, the 2d6 strength for hits, and then either a Firestorm or a Wind of Death with the 2d6. So it was quite a good combo for this one. So I'll just keep putting them out there. If I don't remember saying too much about how much damage he does, because from memory I think this game I was around like 1s and 3s for the how much hits I managed to get on units. But if anything stands out, I'm sure I'll mention it. So in my turn not a lot happened, so we're straight on to Chaos turn 2. Basically I moved up on the flank with my skinks. As you can see, I conga line my skink skirmishers just a little bit at the jungle swarms, because I had a feeling he'll try and push them away with his terror, which is what he goes with his Shaggoth, and pushes them up there. Casualties wise, I don't think I've done too bad. My Stegodon is just watching my left flank, and he again is a bit nervous about charging in against me. My jungle swarms are just in a position where I can be annoying, and I've taken a wound or two on my crocs in the centre there. But other than that, it's his turn 2, and not a lot has damaged me so far. So on to Lizardmen turn 2, and as you see, my skinks have actually managed to get a wound through. Poison helped me out there against the high toughness. And amazingly, my slan actually warms up and blasts the demons, the horrors, does some great damage to them. Of course, being demonic, they don't get any of their special ward saves against the magic. And also, I've done plenty of damage to the Marauder unit. And this is just my my slan. So at this point, I'm actually winning the magic off. So I'm quite happy standing pretty stationary and blasting him off the face of the earth before he gets to me. I've obviously attempted a charge up with his knight into my croc scores. I think we have gamed this before, and he does lose. Of course, depending on dice, but with my high leadership slan there, I'm pretty sure I can hold them into a fight. As long as like 2 survive, they do so much damage being strength 7. And then on the left hand side, yeah, there's just a stalemate as my Stegodon faces off against the 2 units and just holds them in place. So I'm pretty happy with the position so far at turn 2. So during Chaos turn 3, he just moves up. He charges in against my skinks with his Shagoth. Thanks to my slan, I do pass the terror test and fight him in combat. And yeah, he does beat me in combat and then runs me down. But the awesome thing is I've actually managed to sneak another wound through in. So that is with my skinks being absolute champions. So this guy's got, I don't know, I think it's 5 wounds. So he's still got 3 remaining. But that does help. So it's only going to take a few more hits, hopefully, with some skink poison and get rid of the beastie. Unfortunately, on the left-hand flank, the beastmen move up into the woods. Of course, their skirmishers are not slowed down by the terrain, and get himself so he can see my skinks and just blast them with his death magic. So at the end of Chaos turn 3, we're looking something like this. And yeah, that Shagoth is going to be a serious issue in my backlines. I don't think he'd be brave enough to charge my main unit, mainly because I've got all the ranks there. Just saying that he's unit strength 5, so maybe it would be worth it. But I have got my character, my Saurus character in there, who probably get a wound or 2 through, but still, that's not good for me. I need to sort him out. Okay, sorry for the bit of jump, but as most of the time, whenever you're playing a game like this, you tend to get suckered in and take some photos. So here, I believe we're on Lizardmen turn 4. Basically what happened on my left flank, I moved up and declared charge against the Minotaurs. They fled from my charge, I just moved forward and failed charge. Then in my opponent's turn 4, he then declares a charge with his Beastmen against my Stegodon. Fails the actual terror test. So the beastmen are fleeing before I even started, which is fantastic. And then my turn, I have just moved them up to face what he saw as a coming threat heading towards him. He had prepared in the turn previous. Seeing that his left flank is now completely running, and of course, since it's they've had an extra turn as well, what they call Minotaurs. I keep forgetting the name. The Minotaurs didn't rally either, so they're still fleeing, which is ideal. So okay, this is Chaos turn 5. So things have happened as I said before, but again the Beastmen and the Minotaurs didn't rally, which left that left flank gone. So he's turned his hero against my Stegodon. Also on this turn he's charged against my Croc scores. In the previous turn he moved in around the rear of my Saurus warriors to get a rear charge on. In the meantime, I backpedaled with my jungle swarm and charged him, and this was fantastic because my jungle swarm's actually getting some wounds on him, and he's struggling to get through the 10 wounds on the jungle swarm. So this is their perfect job. Other than that, the magic is just blasting away, trying to kill off the last of the horrors. And the battlefield is looking as you see it. Unfortunately, I do believe these knights are chosen when I'm actually thinking about it, because I remember this being quite brutal. So yeah, as you can see, it was a Hulk smash. They beat my Crocs in combat and then ran them down, so that was my Crocs gone. But luckily I didn't suffer any panic checks, so I'm alright there. Cold-blooded does come in handy every so often. But Chaos didn't have it all their own way. My skinks, Jungle Swarm, considering they can't actually wound the Shaggoth, they're completely relying on their poison attacks. Take the last 2 wounds off the Shaggoth, which was absolutely fantastic, and only lost 2 wounds in the process. So good on my Jungle Swarms, well worth their points today. Actually, looking at this one, I think that was my opponent's turn 6, because I think we only have one more turn after this. So as you can see at the top hand side there, the Minotaurs actually fled off, and I do believe that the Beastmen flee off as well. So I didn't have to do anything to those 2 units, which is pure luck on my chance there. And it's looking like this for him. He's got 2 little horrors there just hiding in the centre. His big unit down the bottom here I can't do much with. He did finally blast off my skinks on this flank. So there's not much I could do there. But as you can see, it's looking pretty good for my chaps at the moment. So with my swarms valiantly trying to get MVP, they actually charged the flank of the Chaos Chosen Knights and beat them in combat, and then proceeded to run them down. So well done for these guys. That's all the victory points I needed for them. So with that, that was the end of the game, and as you can see, that was pretty good for the Lizardmen. I lost my Crocs and 2 lots of Skinks, and I think that was it. So I think my opponent got 540 odd points, I believe, and I got about 500 points he got, and I got about 1600 points. Ended up with 1 extra banner, 2 table quarters to his 1, so it gives me another 100 on top. So yeah, I think it was about that at the end of that. So it wasn't a bad victory. I got half points from the Marauders as well. My magic kicked in and finished off blasting them, doing that and my skinky javelins. Yeah, all pretty good at the end of it. Well chuffed with that. It's another victory to the good old Lizardmen. So that finishes off game 3, and then with the new scores, I'm up to 2,578, and my opponent is up to 1,800. So next I get to take on the Chaos, fight with the Chaos Army. So what I picked up from this one, that Shaggoth is awesome. I think he's got a lot of potential. I could probably use him to hunt down the Stegodon. With that strength 7, toughness 5, he can probably hold his own against that. The Chaos Knights I'll probably put onto a flank in the centre. I don't think they did a hell of a lot. And the what they called it, the horrors, they're bound level 10. That's just mean. You can't really spend the dice trying to stop it. So I'm definitely going to have a go at those, just trying to zap off the skinks, just to give me a kind of a way to push through. Again, with the Beastmen, I'm actually probably tempted to keep them nearer the centre, just to give them a bit of a better leadership. That leadership does let them down quite a bit, and hopefully I can get them into a fight. And the Minotaurs, I'm not entirely sure yet. I'll see how that goes. There's not a lot they can take on greatly by themselves, and they're easily poisoned, so I'll just have to try and keep them protected somewhere. So until then, I'll see you on the next one. Farewell.